Ooh.
Hi. Hi.
There we go. I just noticed something.
What?
We are in the wrong positions here. There's something wrong.
Oh,
Hmm.
my name is Josephine.
Are we seeing this right now? What is happening? What is wrong? What can possibly be wrong? I will try and figure it out. What?
Bassett has turned into Catwoman. And,
Yeah. Bassett is now Catwoman. And I'm just gone. I'm not there.
No.
And I do not understand what happened.
You are looting a nearby crypt.
I don't. That's a perfect way to start this, actually. You know.
Yep.
Like I said the last time, it's not a real live stream without some technical difficulties.
Of course. Oh wait, no. It says that my cam. That's where you're now. But we are everyone.
Yeah.
This is... Hold on.
What happens if you kick
know what?
the?
Yeah, is the stand-in
I
messing us
found
up?
out what it was.
You haven't turned on the cam.
I forgot to turn on the camera. Now
There
we're
we go.
ready. Welcome everyone. What a great introduction.
Yes.
Okay, I think
Well-
we're ready now.
Yes, we have this. Let me turn down the volume here a little bit. As we said, we are. This is going to be a kind of lore dump stream to give a little bit of background into the world we're playing in, and maybe give some meat on the bone, as we say in Norway, to understand what's happening in the sessions. So yeah. As you can see on the stream here, Josephine has been so kindly to upload a map of the world called Thalgar, which have 6 human kingdoms, 3 elven kingdoms, and 2 dwarven kingdoms, I believe. No, it's 4 elven kingdoms and 2 dwarven. And the most of our adventure is taking place in Ashvale, at the top right. And our characters are from different places in this world. And we will go into a little bit more detail about those kind of backgrounds in a little bit. I can also mention that we have some deities in our world. I have created, what do we call them? The Big Nine? Yeah. It's quite simply, it's 3 good gods, 3 neutral, and 3 evil gods. And we also have some lesser gods. But should we perhaps do a quick tour around the table here, where you can introduce where your character is from and a little bit about the area, if you have something dotted down?
I think that could be good. Do we have any pointer for starters? I think since Bassett is so perfectly placed in the beginning of the queue, I think he should start.
Yeah.
All right. Referring to the map on the screen right now, the island, what's it called? Archipelago. Oh, something happened to the stream image. There's back. The archipelago there, called the Fair Isles. That's very close to where Bassett originates from. The mainland there, just above the mountain range, there's a swamp called the Rocky Moors. And it's a sort of a hostile environment. There are, you know, a lot of water. There's some forested area. There are some small islands within the rocky moors that are with forests for wild game. And Vassith's people roam around these areas, moving every couple of years to let the wildlands around them regrow and for the wild game to return.
And aren't we? Didn't we also agree that your kind doesn't operate inside the borders of the other kingdoms? So you're technically from the wildlands.
Well, technically, yeah. There are not a lot of lizard folk roaming around, so these people probably has migrated and found a place they could settle. But they are not part of a kingdom per se. The nearest would be Valimor, the nearest borders. And well, the latest years before Vassith moved or went on an adventure, humans had begun encroaching on that area from different, which meant that they couldn't move around as much anymore. So they started hunting for game on the islands, and that is where Vassith met Ilos. And so Vassith's adventure began. There are a lot more details there. I'm hoping we can discover many of them during our campaign.
Yeah. I'm leaving room for some few character arcs.
Yeah, but it's safe to say that Vassith's people is not entirely welcome where they come from. They are, you know, savage sort of race seen from the human eyes. But there have been trade caravans who has found them, and that's the reason why.
A good example of this is perhaps the coins we agreed upon.
Yeah.
Would you like to share that bit?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
don't you?
We can talk a little bit about that. As I said, there are trade caravans who have found one of the camps, and that's the reason why Vasset knows the common language. Not perfectly, but well enough so he can communicate. Not everyone in his, in his pack agrees that adopting to this language is a good idea, but the younger people, they are more open-eyed. Also, the trading caravans have left some coins, a currency currently unknown to the lizard folk population, but Vessis has a few. We haven't really had the chance to do anything with them, but it will be interesting to see how spending coins will be in Vassith's mind, because they usually trade with furs and game and handcrafted stuff, favor for a favor and goods for goods, and not used to placing value on things in terms of coinage.
I have thought about exchange for a little bit, so I think you will be pleasantly surprised
All
when
right.
you discover what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
But that's perhaps a good jump into Alos.
Yeah. Like I was told, Ilos and Vassit met on just like one of the other islands in the archipelago. Difficult word. And that's because like Ilos is from he's the prince of the Fair Isles Kingdom, where the capital city is Fair Mist. To kind of give an environmental description, even though it's pretty up far north in in the world or in the map. It's quite tropical, and the northernmost islands are kind of barren with just like bushes and brushes for the most part, while the southernmost islands of the isles of the Fair Isles are a bit more flourishingly in vegetation with trees and marshes and some swampy areas. So it's quite varied vegetation-wise. The town of Fairmist was mostly built of sailors coming to the island and establishing a like trade town, and then it has been expanded upon later on. And yeah, like the architectural type is like mostly ancient Greek kind of inspired. A lot of marble and stone buildings for the most part. And well, yeah.
Yeah, and we kind of barely touched your little character arch in the last session.
Yeah.
So a little bit more about that will come soon.
Yeah.
But in short, you're out looking for your father and seeking glory.
Yeah.
On his behalf and the kingdom's behalf.
Yeah, on the kingdom and the, well, you can say like the family names behalf.
Yeah.
There's been a bit of turmoil in the political standards the last couple of years in Fairmist, since they have been without their king for a lot of years.
But the most recent character development that perhaps people would like to know more about is perhaps Saoirse and your relationship with Duncan.
Yeah.
So can you please tell us a little bit about where your character is from and what's happened before this adventure?
Yeah. Saoirse is from a small town called Blythewood, which is in Elithron. It's just like a stop between two bigger cities, originally founded by Wood Elves long ago. But it's now inhabited by like everyone, really. So there tends to be a bit more wood elves there. It's at like the bottom of a mountain in the middle of a forest. So it's definitely like a place where people just stop, take a longer rest before they keep traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of on the border of Stonehold and Elithron. And yeah, she grew up there with her whole family, and that is where she met Duncan a couple of years ago. Quite a few at this point. Around 7, I would say.
Yeah.
And
that's at least what you told me.
Yes, around 7 years. And he and his companions, which we met in wolf form last time before they were wolves. They just stopped to rest for about a month. So quite like a longer rest, but it's not that unusual for that town. Like people can say anything from like a week to 2 months. It just really depends if they just need to like sleep or if they need to get more supplies or in between missions or what's happening. And they kind of just fell head over heels in love, and that was it really. So Duncan has met her entire family. She has a grandpa, she has parents. Her grandpa is also a cleric. And her parents are just normal workers, and her siblings are younger, so they don't really do anything yet.
No.
Yeah, and the last week before she left with Duncan, because she was like, I cannot like ever leave you alone. I'm coming with you.
Mm-hmm.
She met Dio. Well, they all met Dio, because Dio stopped for a week's long rest, I think it was, or 2 weeks. It was something
Yeah,
along there. And then yeah, they traveled for a week after that, and that's how they all met long ago. And then they split with Dio after a week, so Dio
Yeah, and it was
doesn't
about
really know them that well. But
it was about 2 years between before the split, and then you met him again in Ashvale.
Yeah.
That was about 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so she and Duncan have just been traveling. Well,
Mhm.
she has been traveling with Duncan and his group for the past few years, until, what did we say, like a few months back, I think? Or, yeah. When he went to die, as they tend to do in that group. And she was like, okay, I want to be able to, like, feel like she needed to feel emotionally that she was worthy enough to like be buried next to him. So she wanted to find him, which she did, kind of. Get the wedding ring back, which he still has. So we'll see what happens with that. What's gonna happen if he takes it with, or if he gives it to her. And yeah, just overall just grow as a person and as a cleric. Because when she traveled with them for years, like, she just always stayed at camp. Like, she cooked them food. Like, she maybe like patched them up like a bit, like prayed for them if they wanted, but she was part of the party. So she didn't grow as a person in that sense.
No, you traveled with them.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. More like a helper.
Yes, correct. Her and her dry eggs went everywhere. Yes. And they loved it, hopefully, or they just didn't say anything. to be seen.
Yeah. And then we touched a little bit on Dio, so perhaps you can give a thought.
Yeah, Dio doesn't really have a hometown because he grew up with a band of traveling bards called the Alpine Bards. So he was traveling all around. I want to say all around the world, but I haven't actually mapped out exactly where. But he traveled far and wide, spreading joy through song, dance, and theater. Before he ended up a short stint in Sindoria at the castle there. Before running away from there, going back to the bards, traveling a little bit with them. Before they had a little, let's call it an argument, before they separated themselves from Dio, and he went off on his own and started wandering towards the wildlands to try his luck there.
I wonder what he did.
We'll see if it comes up.
Just trying to plant some seeds here.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So yeah, there are several things that we could touch upon later. So I'm curious to see what you choose to put a finger on.
Yeah. And Josephine.
I mean, we've heard her say it plenty of times herself, but she is from Felspire, if anyone has ever noticed. And more specifically, she is from the capital of Felspire, which is called Eldoria. And Felspire is kind of this very like central hub between civilization and the wildlands. And I mean, Felspire is a kingdom. It has a monarch, and the monarch 200 years ago is the reason why Ashvale is a settlement right now. And yeah, it's a pretty cool place. It's pretty huge as far as I've gathered it, and it has like snowy kind of rugged wildlands at the top, and then a sweet kind of southern border with lots of fertile lands. And so I kind of imagine it like a Sweden in a way. That's kind of what I've thought about it. And Eldoria, the city itself is like really like structured with huge stone walls and big stone towers, because their military force is the Pegasus Riders, which is very special and very cool. And yeah, I mean, everything in Felspire is great. They used to have great relations with other kingdoms around. That is until 4 years ago, when the queen was brutally murdered, and the king lost his beloved, and kind of got into his mind a bit. I think so. That's a kind of a huge event that separates Felspire from what kind of greatness it used to be, and kind of what a political failure it is right now.
They have that Great Britain vibe about them.
Yeah, they really do. They really do.
But you touched a little bit upon it, and I think that's a good jumping point to the next part, which is what we as a group has been calling the Prelude, because we had was it 3 sessions, 4
I think it was
sessions?
4.
Yeah, before we even started this, for different reasons. And to give a little bit of a timeline here, to make it easy for people, the Prelude was played in year 0. And this campaign is set in year 200. So it's been 200 years since a trade caravan or a settler's caravan drove out from Felspire and into the unknown wildlands, because the map you see on the screen now, it's the known world. It's what's been mapped out and are accounted for. But what the group doesn't know in game yet is that the wildlands is actually about twice the size of the known world. So the wildlands are massive, and Felspire for 200 years ago decided to tap into that resource, and they sent a settlements caravan where this group played different characters and decided to what's happening? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
They did well. Lots of things happened on that journey. So perhaps the players here can jump in and help me tell the story of the Prelude campaign. So we started by traveling out from Felspire by order of King Victor. And the quest was to... You were hired as guards for this caravan. But something happened during these travels. Do you remember what it was?
Doesn't everybody? Yeah.
First incident that was from the pre-prelude, right? Where we met the orcs.
Yeah,
And
I peppered you with some text. I think I started 6 days before our first session, and I did one text each day, sometimes two. And can you please summarize these texts?
Summarizing it, it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of text, but I
Yeah.
mean, mostly it was trying to establish an outpost and being confronted by orcs, where basically two of the party members from the Prelude ended up meeting each other in combat to secure the right to have an outpost out there.
Yeah. Trivia question. They fought.
Yep.
Let's see how well you have paid attention. What does that ritual? What is it called?
Oh, don't put me on the spot like this, man. God damn it. I can honestly say I do not remember the name of that.
That's fine. I don't either.
Wasn't it kind of like the Mak'gora from World of Warcraft ritual?
Yeah, that's my inspiration for it.
Yeah, I mean it was a variant of that, kind of.
Yeah.
Since it was the orcs ritual.
The Grundak rite.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is basically an unarmed combat between two champions. It's a test of strength.
Kind of like we saw in episode 3.
Yeah.
Kind of.
yeah.
Depends on how much honor you would have gained during that encounter, but yeah.
Yeah.
Winning is winning.
Winning's
it's all
winning.
relative.
Yeah, but anyways, you encountered some orcs. You did the right, and what happened next? Ooh, this is fun. I get to question my players.
Sorry guys, I have to go. No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
I mean, we secured our spot and started working a bit with the orcs, or at least cooperating.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to take over from here?
And I can say that that one orc that was in the Gromduck against the other person from the caravan, he joined the group as he deemed them honorable and strong, and wanted to tag along.
Yeah.
And
That's Kragtar you're talking about now.
yeah.
The character you played.
Yeah, that's Kragtar. And also, Kragtar was, well, kind of second in the line of command with the orcs.
Mm-hmm.
He had a bit of influence, and he was the one kind of pushing for initiating contact with the human, or with the caravan group.
Yep.
He was second in command under the tribe's shaman.
Yeah.
Which the we forgot maybe to mention that the text you wrote to us before the first session was like written in the style of a diary.
Yeah.
From the caravan leader.
Nope.
No,
not the caravan leader. The guy called, if I'm allowed to say his name,
yeah,
he was Karen Voss.
Yeah.
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 That's correct.
And
the caravan leader that was Jorin Ashvale.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Jorin. Yeah.
The guy that used to run all over the place.
He
Yeah.
ran
Oh my
a
God,
lot.
yeah. We didn't trust him a single time, dude. He ran too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like
Always in a hurry.
yeah.
He's like, wonder if he's a track star. I was like, yes.
This man though who kept writing the diary, he like the diary was fine until he decided to pick up this strange book and bring it with him that had called to him and that said that he would like gain power. And as we kept on moving on with the diaries, we kind of realized that this book is kind of more and more affecting him in a worse way and kind of like manipulating him into going places and seeking more power and doing more stuff. And I believe like one of the last things that you wrote was like I am destined for something greater or something like that, and that's kind of like where the diary ended and the prelude, as we refer to it, started.
Yeah, that's true. And the book was sentient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And he stole that book from the orc shaman,
Yeah.
whom he murdered and reanimated and sent him into the wilderness.
Yeah, that's true. I did that.
200 years later.
Yeah.
Like an undead just comes.
The reanimated corpse just arrives.
Yeah.
I understand. It's some things I forgot that I can pick up on. Where's my pen? Where's my pencil?
Matt, you're
Wait, where's
busy.
the book?
You're busy now.
And I think we started off with like looking for, or the campaign opened up with us reading the diary. Like we'd just finished reading the diary of this man, and we were at this ritual site that had obviously been used because there was a stone plate in the center that was like cracked, and there was a book laying there, and it was blank.
Yeah, and this stone site is also in our current campaign, and but this time Cragtar is a guardian there. So, but yeah.
It might be fun to mention, when we started, we had gotten orders to, track down a guy who left the Ashvale outpost at the time, but no one could seem to remember what he looked like or what his name was, because when he got hold of that book, he started to do malicious things to the area around him, making people forget. He made himself like a forgettable person.
Yeah.
And so it was strange when our memories began rushing back to us, and we realized who the guy was.
Yeah, because I started a campaign. I rushed you. Ashvale was already founded, and you were a couple of days out into the wildlands, and I opened session 1 with you reading this journal which had been left behind. And when you stood there, you didn't quite remember anything that had happened for the past weeks, because either the person Karen was or the book had erased your memory.
Yeah.
And all you knew that you were drawn to this site. And also, was it session 1 or session 2 where I introduced the madness system?
It was I think it was at session 2, because the acquainted scribe of the group decided to hold on to this book. And that's when you kind of when she kept hold of this book and trying to open this book and trying to figure out what this book was, that's when you introduced the madness point system.
Yeah, and just short on the madness system, it's, to put it very short, it's a point-based system from 0 to 100, and there's 5 different levels. So 0 to 19 is one level, and 20 to 39, and so on and so on. And each level, it gets worse, and you slip more and more into madness. And I think it's level 3. I, as the DM, will start casting fireball on your behalf.
Yeah.
Which
Which is
unfortunately happened, by the way. It's not safe to keep a level 7, was it? Level 9,
Yeah.
I think she was. Level 9 wizard in a cabin made of wood that was just built, okay? Not when she's slowly going mad.
No, because the madness system also makes you more paranoid. It's harder to resist suggestions and so on and so on. So it's a fun little system.
I will
Yeah.
say I can never get over the character like going across the floor like a worm, because we had to tie her up and she was still like, oh my god, I gotta do this thing. So, like looking at her, there's like like across the floor.
Yeah, I still remember asking Josephine, okay, so what's your most powerful spell?
Oh yeah.
And that is why this guild hall is made of stone.
Yeah,
Fun
fun
fact.
fact. Fun fact of the day.
Yeah,
Some trivia. Yeah. One of the founding members burnt the first one down.
yeah.
And no one
And-
really understand why.
Well, there was a snake in the town hall.
Yeah.
It's true.
Was it?
He was just...
One of the carpenters working in the building was pictured in Josephine's head as a snake.
As a snake.
Yeah.
And that's why she threw the fireball.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yep.
The poor carpenter just here like doing his job, and we're like, please don't murder this man.
It's
Yeah.
worth to mention that this scribe, her name was Elowin, and she struggled with severe social anxiety, and she threw a fireball. She threw a fireball in the in the building guild hall, essentially.
Yeah. And it was at this point also that Jorin, the town mayor, asked you to sit down with him, since you were the security of the town, and start forming a guild here in the Wildlands. Monster Hunter Guild, to be exact. And he wanted you to discuss a motto and some rules and so on and so on. So maybe tell us a little bit about that process.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's fair to everyone that have watched our streams. We're not very good with names. So it didn't kind of like come that easily. But if I remember correctly, Vasset was the great source of very good name suggestions and quote suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the time, I played a character called Ben Benson the Nine, or Ben Benign, as he went. And he was better with words than Vaseth is.
Yeah.
And so tying this guild to the incident with Elwyn, the fact that the town name is Ashvale, and that we are supposed to be hunters roaming free in the wildlands. Thereby was the name born the Ashborn Unchained.
And do you remember the fight that started the rumors about your group in the Prelude?
Yeah, that's when we cleared out the mithril mines.
Yeah.
That is when someone tried to befriend the Hydra.
And remind me,
Sorry.
how did that story end again? Sorsha, how did that story end?
I
I specifically
I don't
remember
know.
one character eating a lot of Hydra.
I made rations. Okay,
Yeah,
listen.
that's better than the bacon.
Yeah, to be fair,
It's
I'd rather
always
eat Hydra.
something.
That was okay. First of all, Vassive wasn't sure that that bacon was okay, and me, the player, forgot that we were talking about a human. So we're like, "Yeah, I'll have bacon." Oh shit!
Maybe not.
But maybe not. No, but the
Yeah.
Hydra, it was our dear druid who tried to befriend it, and when that didn't work out, I was a Goliath at the time, named what the fuck,
Paula.
Paula. I
Paula.
had to
Paula
think
is a
about this.
legend.
All of my characters are usually named with P, so this is very unique. Was like, yeah, guess I'll have some rations. So she made rations, and for some reason no one else wanted any, but I had a lot.
Yeah.
Just to also mention the
Mm.
befriending try with the Hydra was made because Kragtar, the druid, or the orc druid, wild shaped himself into a crocodile or an
Yeah.
alligator.
Yeah,
One of
yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
then he got like someone cast. I can't remember the spell's name, but enlargement or something
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
made him bigger.
yeah.
And he tried to like go on and talk and speak to the Hydra, but it was too hungry to talk.
Yeah. Well, anyways, you defeated the Hydra, and that gained you some reputation in the kingdom of Felspire. And you got an order from King Victor arriving on a Pegasus rider to form a guild and start protecting the town of Ashvale, which is the last name of Jorin, the founding father of the town. And so you did, and you helped also open the mithril mine, which gave the town some much needed income. What happened next after that?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
there was another question that we chose not to help the miners.
Yeah, I'll come to that later.
Yeah.
Because that
We did not choose. It was a matter of a grave dire situation.
It was a do this or do this, and then this problem seemed much bigger than the other problem.
Yes.
We were running out of time.
running out of time from what?
So, as you know, we're ordered to make this guild happening. That's one thing that's happening. There are a few quests going around as well. But there's also a danger lurking from the wildlands, and more specifically, from the area of where we first started the campaign. Because the book that Elwyn, the scribe, has been carrying around is apparently some sort of gateway to become a certain dark goddess's avatar in some
No.
way.
I can actually correct you on this since we're not playing. The book is called The Tome of Shattered Minds, and it's a book said to be written by a god's name that I, as a DM, is foolish enough to make, which I have a really hard time pronouncing.
Give me a second
yeah.
and I will give it a try.
Write it in the chat. We'll see if we can say it. Competition.
Competition.
All right.
Who can say it the
Yeah,
best?
okay, I'll post it in chat now. Or I can
Oh,
actually
Or
South Forest.
Saltor.
Yeah, that's anyways, that's the god of chaos, madness, and forbidden magic. And it's said that a book said to be written by, I already forgot what you said.
Altoreth.
Saltoreth itself. It contains incantation that can break the laws of reality, but each spell exacts a terrible price. The loss of sanity, memory, or even the caster's very identity. And that's the book you're carrying around, Elwin,
Yeah.
or Josephine.
Yeah.
But you don't know that yet.
No, I mean, poor little wizard, social anxiety elf who carried around this book as it was her prized possession, and that's kind of how we ended up in the throwing a fireball situation.
Yeah, because the madness points at this point just kept
It
rising
kept
and rising.
and
I
everyone
think
was getting madness points, but I was getting the most.
Yeah, I think you were level 3 on the madness scale when.
Yeah, before the clerics came in and rescued me.
Yeah, because I needed to reset because it was getting out of hand. It was happening too quickly.
Yeah, and so he I don't remember exactly how you need to fill this in, Mats, but at some point we get to know that there are like rifts of dimension tear happening in the like wildlands somewhere, kind of like a merge between her domain and our world, and she was gonna like cause chaos upon the entire world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sorta did the information dump on the messenger from Felspire, and they went to research, and they sent out the cleric woman, whom we forgot to ask the name of.
Let me see if I have it here. No.
But the urgency of the situation was.
There was so much happening at once.
Yeah.
You were happening all at once. Is what was happening.
So yeah, I gave you a little lore dump about this god, and that's where you learn about the Unbound. You remember those?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we mentioned them in the stream too.
Yeah, barely. But that's the good part about this lore dump stream. If I'm going to say Unbound in the future, hopefully it's you have something to anchor it to.
Yeah.
Anyways, Unbound is her worshippers, and the rift Josephine is talking about is the rift of unmaking, where the reality is shorter from each other. It's like a kind of portal. And
the veil between worlds is thin.
Yeah. And when I give you this lore dump, I think I also... Was that the time I told you how to stop it, or did that come later?
The thing was, it came kind of early. and then we went out to get that sword.
Yeah, that's true, because you needed that sword to do the ritual.
Yeah. So I think you dumped it all at once, and then it was like, you can find this here, but you also need to do this, and then this is
Yeah.
happening so fast.
Yeah, that was the point where I also introduced that the mines. No, the mines were still operating.
Yeah,
Because
it was the choice between the forest, the mountain for sword, or fishing village to the north that was in trouble,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
And when we got to when we were on our way to the mountains to get the sword, the dwarves there, or the miners there, told us that they had a problem in the mines as well.
Yeah.
And we said we have to do this first, and then come back, because you can just block off that part of the mines.
Yeah.
And problems will be gone for a while.
Do you remember the name of the mine master?
Yeah, I actually have his name right here.
Tobias?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Damn,
First time
Paula.
I ever remembered
Social.
him. I don't even remember my own name.
Yeah, and his foreman was Jasper.
Yeah.
That's correct. Do you remember Tobias's last name?
Oh.
Was it?
Because this is an angry DM incoming now.
Was
I
it
am
wrong?
going to
Don't say
assume-
that. I was just so happy.
I'm going to assume, since you're angry,
I'm not. Yeah.
that it is something to do with iron.
Is it Forge?
No, it's
Forge.
Tobias Flintheart.
Flint
Okay.
heart.
And this is the angry DM incoming because you never bothered asking. Do you know your favorite NPC in our current campaign?
Martha?
Yeah.
She has a surname as well.
Yes. Perhaps she does. And she has a ton of mining equipment in her basement. So what do you
I
think
think you
her
said
last...
Flintheart.
Oh
Yeah, I
my
think you said
Oh
Flintheart
my
actually.
god.
I didn't even think about that.
Wait,
Oh,
was it Tobias's pickaxe that we hurled at the Vermin King?
It's
We are
Tobias's pickaxe.
killing,
Come on.
we are killing that fucking rat. I swear to God. If I see him, it's on sight, bitch.
Saoirse's top
Thank God I'm
priority.
turning into a werewolf.
But yeah, that's the lineage. So Martha is actually...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Related to Tobias.
So please ask about surnames.
Why don't NPCs
By the way,
just introduce themselves with surnames?
Hello, my name is Martha Flint.
I think she was introduced as Martha Flintheart.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. And I kind of in what was it, episode 2? I tried to kind of shove it on you with the mine carts and the pickaxes and hoping that you will connect the dots, but no.
Yeah, but Matt, I'm not sure if you remember this, but we had one singular mission when we came up from that little basement. It was not to ask about mining equipment.
It was your singing and getting drunk.
That's true. That's true.
That's everything else fell by the wayside.
It was
okay.
to
that
give,
moment.
the mission was to give Dio a bath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, you're excused.
For now.
Also, I think this might be a good time to, I have introduced Ben, who I played in the Prelude. We heard
Yeah.
about Elowen, and Kragathar, but there was also a couple of more, like the stout little dwarf that fought Kragathar in the text before the Prelude actually started.
Yeah.
Oh yes, good old Sir Keir Archibald James Faith Warden. The dwarf paladin from Fellspire. Yeah, he was a fun character, a knight son of the knight in the court of Eldoria, traveling with this group. That was great little character.
Yeah.
I was away for 2 sessions, so I don't have too much meat on the bone for that one. But he was a fun character. I really enjoyed playing that.
Yeah.
And also a fun little note. Did you know that Sursa's character in the Prelude was decided entirely by dice
Oh, cool.
on what her class and race or species, as it's now called,
Ooh,
was
didn't
supposed
know.
to be?
And for
Quite-
some reason, you landed on a barbarian Goliath. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
That was insane.
When the dice gods really have your back.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
because listen, I roll really good when it doesn't matter. Okay? And when it
Yeah.
does, I don't.
Yeah, but I kind of lost track here.
I mean, I think where we kind of left off here is that we had to go. There was a million things happened all at once, and what the group decided to do was to get a sword. that was the main priority. Let's get
Tiny.
let's get a
Well-
sword, and let's go kill this guy.
I think we were told that we needed the sword,
Yep.
Yeah,
the
you
big, the big bad, or else I would not have gone get that fucking sword. But I
Yeah.
remember there was like a giant there, right? When we fought, that was hiding in the snow,
There was a frost
Yeah.
giant there. Yeah.
and I was really pissed. Well, not me, but Paula was really pissed because she spoke giant, and this dude just fucking ignored her. She's like, fine, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, I remember.
It was an ice giant warlord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
at this point, Elwyn was just being invisible and hiding from everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
And you got one-shotted.
And I got one-shotted, yes.
Because they also... okay to mention, between sessions, I leveled you up quite a bit. It was not the normal, okay, you gain a level. I think the first, you started at level 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I, from session 1 to 2, I boosted you 4 levels.
Yeah, I think it might have been, I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 sessions, but I think we were level 5, level 9, and level 11.
Yeah.
I think that's how we play this. At least my character is still in D&D Beyond as a level 11 wizard.
Yeah. And Archibald was gone for 1.5 sessions. And we actually, I think, all agreed that doffing one's armor to go into the forest to take a shit takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
That's what heavy armor does. It takes time.
And I remember Ole said to me during the session where we fought the Ice Giant Warlord that he loved that it was a CR level fuck you. And I can
Mhm.
disclose now that it had a challenge rating of 12.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
And I think I think I knocked off 100 hit points also when you fought it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I remember that fight was sort of scary.
Yeah.
It didn't start out scary, but it got really dramatic very
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, I think it got quite dramatic when Josephine should have died.
Yes.
hey. Hey.
Like perma died. Like
Permadeath.
not not like death saving throws.
It was a permadeath because it was twice my HP.
Yeah. So it was quite a hard hit.
But I mean, lucky for us, we have a pretty chill DM who decided that you should probably roll for it anyway.
It didn't fit the narrative, okay?
It didn't fit the narrative, so we went forward. And we got the sword in the end, and then on our way down, we kind of brought down some dead people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because there were missing soldiers, for other adventuring parties that had been going up trying to get the sword that failed. But I mean, we didn't. almost, but didn't. And so we got the sword, and we got some
I think
people.
we left them because we couldn't carry them, and we just brought down like small things from them to like here
Yeah.
they are dead.
Yeah, I
Because
think
they're just-
you.
Like there was not a lot of strong people in our party. I was very strong, but like I can't carry 6 people.
I think we
Yeah,
were...
Yeah.
I think you brought down like their dog tags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
Because
told the
we had
mother...
And we did bury them in the snow, so it wasn't like underground. We kind of just like, okay, cover them even more. I think that was it. So
Yeah, because that was the bonus part of it. Figure out what happened to the previous adventurers who had gone for the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we hitched down and was on our way to the ritual site where the finale would take place. And we kind of rushed it because we said no to everything else because we were like, we'll get to that afterwards. We just need to save the world before, you know?
Yeah.
We got the sword. We need to end this.
Yeah, but before, after you got the sword and you were on your way back to Ashvale, you stopped for a rest. And during that rest, things started taking a turn for the worse because of the book and your character, Hydra. If you remember the black gooey stuff.
Yeah, so I decided to touch the book to identify it at this point because I thought, hey, why not do that? That could be a smart thing to do. And that was a very, very bad thing to do because it kind of just turned into black goo that infused with me. And yeah, I was mad.
Yeah.
From that point going forward.
Yeah, and before you went to the rite of unmaking, something started to happen in the town as well. Do you remember the... I think it was a little boy who talked in tongues.
Yeah,
Or something.
Yeah.
there were multiple things. I'm pretty sure at one point there was a dragon that killed 2 Pegasus riders.
5
Pegasus riders, sorry, my mistake. But things just like got so out of hand and escalated so quickly.
Yeah, but I would like to focus on that, but because that's... as a DM, I have small pleasures here and there because I plan this and it happens so far in the future. So, and this was one of my points where I kind of sat back and enjoyed how you reacted to that scene. But there was 3 main things that happened within the city of Ashvale as the madness started to spread. And the first thing was a small child starting to act strangely, and it spoke in an unfamiliar deep voice, uttering cryptic phrases. And it caused fear and confusion among the townsfolk. And soon after, you started hearing whispers in the wind that affected everybody. But at the climax of this, I remember you were inside the guild hall and you could hear the townfolks on the outside, I think, said, "It's coming!" in a big shouting voice and pointed to the skies.
yes, I remember.
You remember that moment?
Yes.
Josephine looks like a question mark. But anyways, you interpret that, okay, something's bad's happening. But you went outside and you saw some Pegasus riders. So help has arrived.
We were
But
like,
then-
yay, yippee, for 1 second.
Yeah, because then I, as a DM, decided to throw your curveball. So, you remember what happened, or Josephine already said? A little dragon came by.
A little.
A little black shadow creature dragon
Yeah.
formed from dark clouds who enveloped the town in a sphere of darkness, swirled down and engulfed and killed the Pegasus riders, throwing them off their mounts, and we all watched as they fell towards the ground. We even tried to catch a few of them.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I almost did it, and it sucks that I fucking didn't, because I rolled like okay, I just didn't roll like very good. And I tried my best, and I used my dash, and I used everything I had, and then it just died right in front of me. Actually pretty sure like right in front of me.
Yeah, I think it was 2 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. At least I didn't get hit by the horse, so it's okay. Could have been worse.
Yeah. And then
I
what
wonder-
happened?
I wonder how the town of Ashvale would have looked if we decided now is a good time to go help clear the mines.
Yeah, I actually thought about that, and I had some semi-decided to, okay, because we set a date to start the live stream, and I needed to be finished with the prelude before that, so I didn't have time for both tasks. So I thought about that. What if you go clear the mine? And I can tell you, you would have a much harder start to your current campaign.
I believe so.
If Karen would still be around.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you also have quite an epic little fight with Karen was.
The big finale.
Yeah. And at that point, he was quite mad.
He was quite mad.
He was quite mad.
Yeah. On our way there,
Understatement of this fucking century.
that's when our little dwarf decides that it's about time to finally join us again. So that was very nice.
Yeah.
When you need me the most, I will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You joined mid-session there.
And then we rode off on some horses until we couldn't ride horses anymore. Because like there was something where we just had to walk the rest of the way.
Yeah,
I think they were just too scared, right?
Yeah.
Like they were
Yeah.
too scared. Yeah.
It's a forest area surrounding the rite of unmaking.
And there was this whole ritual that we had to do that was very specific, and there was a person that needed to stand in a gateway between the different realms, and then there were other platforms that all had to, people had to stand on there, and it was a very specific ritual. That needed to be done, and there was a sacrifice involved that we already knew. We knew that one of us needed to die. And
there were some questions about within the group who should die, and
None agreed.
none agreed. No.
None agreed.
We
I can
fought for that thing to the end.
Yeah, it was not like a fact, like, oh, I don't want to die, and it's like, let me die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
For
very,
different reasons.
very heroic. Very like, oh, let me die for this, please. And then, no, let
I
me
think,
die
like,
for it.
Yeah, I think like at least 3 of our characters, if not 4. I remember I was like not. I was neutral.
Yeah, I think
but
it was
I-
only Paula that was like,
Yeah, but I think I remember
I
especially.
guess. Yeah.
I think actually Cragtar, Archibald,
And
and
Elwyn.
and also Ben
Yeah.
thought
Mhm.
about doing
Yeah.
this, but I instructed you on what you need to do, and one of the points were that the person entering the portal needs to be of sane mind, because at this point the madness points kept ramping up.
Yeah.
And we were given potions of great restoration to keep ourselves from turning over,
This is
Yeah.
because
important.
they would lower the madness points.
Yeah.
Can I make a little point?
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember this correctly, but I swear to God, because Ben was a paladin, right? Or what
No,
was he? What
Ben
was he?
was a celestial warlock.
Yeah, that was it. I swear, because we thought who was gonna sacrifice like themselves on the way there. Then we are fighting and the madness points are racking up. And then I think it was Ben, but I might remember wrong, who like banished the guy to
Yeah.
a different plane for a little while. And what do we immediately do? Start fighting again.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
like, okay, yeah.
the thing that happened, because Ben's plan was very clear. He was the oldest one. He was a human and he was past his 60s, so he was really old. And he, in his mind, everyone else's lives were worth more. And when we first started fighting, we were doing really good, actually, but the madness points kept ramping up, so he got a little bit desperate and he, used his banishment spell to keep the creature out. And by the definition of the sane mind thing, he thought he needed to rid himself of any trace of madness points. And so he used his last spell slots, being a warlock, casting greater restoration upon himself. But both spells backfired.
Because of the lair action.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so instead of removing, they got quadrupled, and he went to maximum. And then Matt took over, and
Yeah.
interesting things started to happen.
Yeah, because I can reveal that one of the lair action of Karen was chaotic echo, and the lair amplifies chaotic magic, causing a random spell within 60 feet to backfire.
Yeah. And we should have seen this coming because it happened to Elowin's spell, like, literally right in front of
Yeah.
everyone. But I don't think anyone, like, registered that that was a thing. We kind of thought it was something that the Unbound was doing. And so when he was banished, we were like, okay, we're good. And then
Yeah.
it backfired.
So instead of restoring madness point, you gain them. And I also remember afterwards he cast a spell on you where I gave you the opportunity to either take damage or madness points. And at that moment you decided, I want madness points. And I didn't specify. And it was immediately one level up. And that brought you to level 5, I believe. And do you remember what you did? Or what I did for you?
Yeah, it's when he entered the portal and vanished.
Yes.
In a flare of actually very good descriptions, might I add.
Yeah.
Do you want me to recount some of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he dropped the spell, the banishment spell. And so Karen Voss was free to, do whatever he wanted to. Meanwhile, Ben entered the portal and started wandering, descending down into the realm of chaos. His fingers growing longer and sharper, and dark, shadowy wings started forming on his back, and he lost, the features of his face, and all the whiteness of his tabard and everything all turned into a black shadow. Actually reminding me of the creature we saw in the campaign in the first episode.
The Fellstalker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The description of the claws and the the darkness sort of jogged some memories when we met that creature.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting with goosebumps during that time, and the way that Karen Voss acted in the madness scale afterwards was truly epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I panicked so hard because we were 5 and you needed 4 for the ritual. And so when Ben disappeared, I was like, we need to get in position for this ritual.
Yeah.
And I tried so hard at that point. And since I believe I was one of the people, surprisingly enough, with the lowest madness points. And so I stepped into the center one, which was the one between two...
worlds.
Yeah, where you were supposed to stand in between 2 worlds. And you were supposed to have the same mind.
In the opening of the portal. So you're in, like, the opening of the portal, yeah.
Yeah. And the other guys started to get in position, but then we also kind of argued, I remember, about, like, who's gonna stand where. Until this mad Unbound decides to, say that, hey, alright, you guys want to do the ritual? Let's do the ritual. And he steps on one of the plates, and Elwyn, my character, gets cut in half, and everything just goes to shit, and, like, everyone... like, the ritual, like, the madness disappeared, the rift kind of gets up, but at what cost?
Yeah, so I remember just staying a little bit back and let Karen Voss just observe what the group was doing.
Yeah, that's the really epic part about embracing, the madness of it all, the chaos of it all. Watching Boss see whatever happens, it's in the name of the god that I now serve, and that sort of disposition he had was really, that gave goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like, you're up against someone who really doesn't care what happens, and that's really fucking scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said this to you before we started this stream, but I was actually contemplating on just killing you all.
Yeah.
So I can disclose that Karen was, he would be a hard nut to crack.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, the Cragtar survived. Stersha's character, which I forgot.
Paula?
Paula and Archibald survived.
Yes.
Cragtar.
And Cragtar.
Yeah.
So
Ben disappeared. Hydra, well, not Hydra, but
Elwyn got cut in half. Yeah.
Elwyn got chopped in half, so we probably buried the half side we got.
Yep.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, so that's also... Yeah, Cragtar is lurking around the ritual site.
Yeah.
In ghost form.
Yep.
And we don't know what happened to the rest of us, but at some point we would have died. So maybe we'll find out at some point. Maybe we lived a long life. Got married.
Perhaps.
But
we will see.
I mean, it was stated that the flowers that we picked in the first or second session, was to the founding fathers in multiple. So I suspect that they're all, I mean, it's 200 years later anyway, so they're all kind of dead.
Yeah, we're dead by now anyway.
And,
But
Yeah.
when they died is the question.
And
Yeah.
there's definitely a smut novel dedicated to Paul out there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, I swear. Okay, here is a question. I feel like there should be a hidden library in the guild hall. You click a button, all smut.
All smut.
That is
And
all smut.
it should be called the Paula section.
Paula
So-
Archives.
The Paula
Yeah.
Listen.
archives, and it's just smut.
Some people get statues, and some people get a place to read in peace. You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
But this prelude, and I mean the fact that it's 200 years later after this happened, I think a lot of the wild lands are still like undiscovered, and that's why it's so dangerous to lurk out there in the night. That it's going to be exciting to get to rediscover a bunch of things and hopefully learn a lot of new things about what's out
Yeah.
there.
It's also the fact that we have the kingdoms, the established kingdoms, and their hubris that tells them that we are the center of the world and this is the world, and discovering how small a part these kingdoms actually are. It's like humans in our world discovering space. We are the center of the universe. Oh, I see that we are not.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the hubris factor here and exploring that is really cool. It's a really nice way to discover and experience your world, Matt.
I wanna, if I can add one thing, that's not the like lore, but I am the one who makes most of the maps, with a few exceptions. And like my dream is to like as a player is to come upon like far in, like I'm talking like a 3-day journey. I'm talking like a week or two, so no one has actually been there in so long. There's like a big ass like ruin, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And I want to make a map of it.
There's definitely other uncivilized civilizations out in the wildlands.
Listen.
Like, I'm so excited
Duncan
to
needs a
explore them.
house. That's all I'm
Or
gonna
maybe
say.
or maybe an ancient lost civilization.
Maybe.
Yeah. The only thing I have told you about that part is that the more uncivilized races inhabits the wildlands, and you are not like Vasset or the orcs or ogres or dark elves or the Underdark. So it can be, as I said to you before, it can be if you come in contact with some of these races, you will discover that they have a world map of their own, and you are in the wildlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when the Vikings, set sail and they found Britain and shit, there's people here. They're building houses
Ew.
out of stone and not out of wood. How strange a creature they are.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
worship
also-
some other god. What?
And it's also quite easy for me as the DM to do it like this because it opens up so many possibilities. I'm not locked into a world that has a certain view. I can create it as I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, which is fun.
It's really interesting, and one of my personal favorite things about D&D is exploration and discovering new things as you go, and I cannot wait to see what you have in store.
I would
No
so
pressure.
much like to disclose the main plot, but I won't.
Oh,
But
by the way,
I can tell you this: you haven't started it yet.
We have time.
we have time.
We have all the time in the world.
I have my own plot, thanks. It's called love.
So, angry DM question.
Yeah.
Master Hunter Wayland.
Yeah.
Is that his first name or his last name?
That's
Wayland.
Wayland is his first name, and some of you pointed this out, and you are correct. His last name is Rook.
Boom, told ya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Does
I
that
write it down from town.
yeah?
Yeah.
Does that mean that we're not rookies but aspirants?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We're never gonna let that go.
No, it's fine.
It's the first piece of merch we're making is t-shirts with ass brands on it.
Yeah.
Gonna be everybody's Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
But how do you say it in English?
Aspirant.
Aspirant. Aspirant is much better.
Heavy on the ass. Ass.
We appreciate you trying a lot.
Yeah.
And that's one of the
Yeah.
difficulties of like DMing. Like you start writing stuff down.
Yeah.
But until you pronounce it, you don't really know what it is. So if you only have it written down and you haven't actually pronounced it out loud,
Mm.
it can bite you in the ass, like
Yeah.
it did that time.
Yeah, and sometimes when I write stuff down and planning things and or making the different characters and so on and the rank system and everything, I'm in the zone, and just typing. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it bit me in the ass.
Yeah.
Well, also
Pun
one should
intended.
consider that English is actually our second language.
Yeah.
And so what I think what we're doing is impressive. What you guys are doing, it's your guys' second language, and not everywhere in the world that's possible.
No, that's true.
You say your as if it's not your second language.
Well, it is, but I can't say I'm impressed by myself. That's
Well, you can. If you don't,
Yeah.
I will say I'm impressed by you, Ola.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. You speak very well.
You can frame it as I'm
well.
impressed by us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to point at us and then you specifically. Just talk about us collectively as a group. That's fine.
Yeah, but it's a problem with the Jamtelo.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
we
Northern.
Yeah.
The law of Jante.
Yes. Yeah. Well, if it's no more questions from the viewers, I think we're gonna round it off, as we say in Northern English.
Norving.
Northern
English.
English.
Yes.
It
We
is
have-
time to quit this today.
Yes.
We have
Let's
we have
go.
put enough meat on the bone.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I think this kind of little lore dump or history check or whatever you guys want to call it, kind of puts a little more stuffing in the turkey.
Meat on the
God
bone.
damn it! How many different variants of this are we going to do?
No, but really, I hopefully it will help viewers to kind of navigate the lands that we have created, and yeah, I think it's wonderful. I had a great time talking with you guys.
Yeah.
About everything that happened, and I hope all of the viewers also had a great time. And I am actually more and more excited for every single Wednesday that we get to do this. We are live. We play Dungeons and Dragons every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central European time. So yeah, tune in for that. I can guarantee chaos, and I can guarantee some Dio songs. Dio's dropping an album. So
Yeah, I got a mixtape coming out.
got a mixtape
Yeah.
coming up. And on that note, I don't have anything else to say. Do you guys have anything else to say?
No.
No?
Good.
Oh.
Then
I have a question for you guys.
Mhm.
That's the second surname question. What is Vasith's surname?
oh.
Do anyone know?
trivia
Vurtrosk.
question.
Oh shit.
Vurtrosker or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vertrosk.
It's a little bit cheating, but it's on your Discord.
Yeah, but he also said what his
Oh, yeah.
last name was in game, and not in Draconic, but in Common.
Yeah.
Of the stone marshes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm
Damn.
impressed.
Yeah. Look.
I don't gotta
Idols
know,
getting it
right?
I have no
Makes
clue.
sense. Makes sense.
All right.
Yeah. But it's gonna be great. I have some stuff planned for you guys.
Oh, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I think.
All right. Cannot wait to play again, and we will see you guys at a later time. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.